Hello, lovely friends and family. A very warm welcome to my channel. So today I'm going to share with you this delicious, it's the best meat pie filling ever. This is fish filling, okay? So I'm going to be making some fish rolls, okay? So I want to share this recipe with you. It's amazing. You will never use any other recipe again when you see this one or when you try this one. So starting with our ingredients, I have my onions, my peppers, my potato, carrots, and some spring onions. Okay, this is my tuna. This is what I'm going to be using. Okay, so This is very detailed. So I'm going to be showing how I cut my vegetables. Okay, so cutting them so that they are equal in size, not equal but similar in size. So they look equal, but they will never be equal, right? So I just slice them as you saw me. This is more like watch me do, more like do as I do, right? So you just watch what I'm doing and you just learn from that, isn't it? You learn from that, right? So yeah, I try as much as possible to cut it similar sizes, okay? So I try and cut my stuff in squares. When I'm doing like meat pies and stuff, I try and cut my vegetables in squares as much as I can. So this is to ensure that when I am filling the pastries, it becomes puffy. It fills up. You don't need a lot. So it's like it's my cheat. Yeah, it's a cheat. A friend is saying tricky bit that I do anyway. So once you cut your potato, you set it on fire and you cook it. You're not going to cook it for it to cook completely, because don't forget that you'll be cooking it in the oven as well. So as that is cooking, we'll cut our carrots. So in the same way that I cut my potatoes, similar way, you slice them lengthwise, you put them down, cut them, and then try and cut them as similar as possible, the sizes, right? So this is it is my choice. This is my standard, right? You can do it whatever you want. You can grate it, do it, but to make it look more professional and more like very nice, appealing when you open the pie, that is the way to go. So yes, also show you how I cut my peppers. Okay, so peppers, they're like the shape is quite tricky. So if you want to get them in squares, it's kind of So this is how you cut it. So you cut the top, you cut top and bottom off, like I just did. Then you just sort of slice it, cut it, and take out the core. Then you cut it into squares, like you get squares out of this, round thing. And then you try and slice it like I sliced, or sort of dice it like I diced the carrots. Okay, so I have to check on my potato. So when the potato is like cooked, a little bit cooked, you can eat it, but it's a bit firm, so that when you bake it, it doesn't become mushy, right? So yeah, you just set that aside and you let it cool as you finish with so you have to sort of do that first, okay, as you finish with the rest of your cutting, right? So as you can see, I'm trying to cut them in squares. So the same applies here, similar sizes, okay? So normally the potatoes, I make them bigger than the other vegetables, okay? So we finish with the main part of it. So the bottom, this is just how you slice it. Just, cut it and just try and get it as, just look at what I'm doing, okay? Watch and learn, yeah? And the irregular bit, that is the top bit, you just how I just cut it into pieces like that, and then try and just slice it, and just I can't even describe what I'm doing. Anyway, so you set that one aside, and I'll show you how to cut the onions as well. So we're trying to get similar sizes, right? So the red is done. You didn't need to see that again. So I'm showing how to cut onions. So how to dice onions, right? So first of all, you divide it into two, and you peel the skin off. So you peel the skin off, leaving the head of the onions, okay? This, when you leave the head of the onions on, or the head of the onion on, it doesn't bleed. So if it doesn't bleed, you don't tear, you don't cry, unsu, right? So you leave that on, you wash it, then you slice it just as you see me do, right? Slice it all the way to the end, and then you cut it or you chop it, right? So what it is the size that you want. It depends. So slicing it, you can slice it smaller if you want smaller. If you want it bigger, you slice it like 5 times or so. So when you get to the core, you just slice it a bit, like as you see me do, and then you cut them off. Then it will be left with just the head, and you throw it away. Okay, so that is it. It's so, and also you leave the core, the head on, to hold the onion in place so that it doesn't move around. When you cut it all and you're trying to chop it, you cut the head and the bottom of it moves around and becomes funny. Okay, this is just the spring onions, and you just chop them into pieces, because we're going to use them for like some slurry sort of thing, right? It's to thicken and to make our filling moist. Okay, so I get some vegetable bouillon. If you have vegetable stock, fine, but this is what I had. So vegetable bouillon, I added some water, mixed it up, then I add some corn flour. Okay, about a teaspoon, 1.5 teaspoon of corn flour, then stir it, and then I'll add the spring onions and stir it and let it sit as I do other things. Okay, so that is that done. When that one is done, then we move on to the next step. Okay, so make sure you stir it very well, and then you add your spring onions, stir it, and then let it sit. So we have all our vegetables ready, so let's get into making the filling. So you add some oil, any oil of your choice. I am using light olive oil here. You add some of the onions into the pan, the frying pan. Okay, and now we are going to fry the tuna. Okay, so you fry the tuna. So we are doing this step is very important, because we're trying to eliminate that fishy, that nauseating smell and taste that comes with fish. Okay, so do not omit this step. Okay, and you add some black pepper. Black pepper helps to take that taste from fish. Okay, so you add black pepper and you fry it until you see that the moisture in it is gone. It looks very dry. Don't worry, we'll moisten it up. Okay, so I added some chili flakes, just my choice. I like chili. Okay, so we set that aside, and then we add the rest of the onions into a pan with a little bit of olive oil again. Then goes in our carrots. Okay, so the carrots, as you know, it's hard, it's firm, so you need to soften it a bit. So that's why that goes in first. Okay, once you just stir fry that for about 2 minutes, you add your tuna. Okay, so here I'm adding some thyme, a little bit of thyme into my mixture to boost the flavor. Yeah, elevate the flavor a bit, add a bit more flavor to it. This is very delicious. It's going to be delicious. So you fry it a little bit for about another 2 to 3 minutes. You add your peppers. Okay, so you stir in your pepper. It's already soft, it's not hard, so you don't need to. You can even chew. A bit of crunch is good for this filling. Okay, then you add your potatoes. Okay, you can use yam if you don't have potatoes. You can actually, this recipe is Shangri-La style recipe. Okay, so they use yam instead of potato, so you can use yam. Okay, all right, so here you add your slurry. This will thicken it up. Okay, it will thicken your filling up to make it so that it wouldn't be very dry, so when you're eating it, yeah. So that is it. You stir it, everything, you make sure everything is combined, and your filling is ready. Very delicious. Okay, so I'll be sharing my fish roll recipe with you, and also my meat pie, that to die for meat pie that you won't believe it. It is amazing. Okay, so thank you all for stopping by. Please like this video, subscribe if you haven't, and thank you to all those who have already subscribed. I will see you soon in the next one. Bye.